Well, our forefathers, they thought that we are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation. So because of that, our forefathers, they struggled, mounted that incessant struggle to create this country. Our forefathers, they have sacrificed immensely, and we have sacrificed a lot.
So that was the Chief of Army Staff of Pakistan, General Asim Munir, talking about the two-nation theory. And this is a subject which I think requires clarity for our future generations here in India, because there are a lot of thoughts, multiple perspectives on trying to understand the outcome of the two-nation theory, and youngsters have genuine doubts. So when he says that we are not like the Hindus, so obviously when your core identity of the country which is come into existence, the civilizational foundational value, your wajud, like what ticks the country, is that you are not the Hindu. So it's an antagonistic position towards the Hindu, and it is, leave aside, it was, even if it was, you're not a Christian, you're not a Parsi, you're not a Sikh, it is still not a positive position to get a country into existence, because it automatically translates into the fact that you will always be anti that entity. Unlike India, which is unity in diversity, where all the 8 major world faiths have existed since centuries, right? I mean, and many religions have had their birth here. We talk about Buddhism, we talk about Sikhism, we talk about Jainism, of course Hinduism being the oldest. We even talk about Islam coming here 1,000 years back. Even before that, I mean, many people don't know this, that during the time of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, the mosque in Kerala is there, and you should go and check it out. It's a World Heritage Site. So not many people know that. So when General Asim Munir says this, it is a proclamation of nothing new. It is something in which Jinnah came up with this idea. And this idea has failed many a times. It continues to fail every day in Pakistan. That's why you see so much of strife there on religious issues. I mean, not only do you see the situation of non-Muslims very, very problematic and under immense persecution and suffering. Once that stops, then they go on to sects within Islam, like you see the situation of Shias, and so it's and then if it stops there, then it also starts, then the fight starts between various sects of the Sunni sect, so which is the majority sect there. So he's not saying something which is alien. He's not saying something which is, it should not even be taken as something, where you should get very riled up about. He's stating a matter of fact. And it is, as he was telling his nation, that you should teach this to your future generations. It's important that we also teach our future generations here in India that this is not what a nation should aspire to be, anti anything. Rather, it should be pro-humanity. It should be pro-religious freedom. It should be pro-even freedom of religion, freedom from religion, where India ticks all those boxes, right? And development, manufacturing, IT hub, and many other trillion industries which India is known by, or the powers of excellence of education, whether they're the IITs, IIMs. So also the other fact to look at this, many youngsters ask me this, but there are people who are across that border. We cannot expect extremists us telling you that you're supposed to hate the entire section there. Absolutely, that should not be the case. But do understand the larger umbrella of the idea under which their entire critical mass operates is an anti-India position. And it's not coming from a position of bigotry. It is coming from a position of what the nation is all about. So hence all the institutions, all their so-called elite institutions, they will always be anti-India. The anti-India sentiment is from bottom to top as much it is from top to bottom. So it's a way of life. They don't see something wrong in it. But that does not mean it's not wrong. And that does not mean that we don't understand the motivation of that average person also on the road. It does not mean that he wakes up every day and he is not trying to just go for survival. But the larger overarching idea which controls that nation state, where the critical mass is clear that yes, every action is towards anti-India, every action is towards erasing anything that you have with the Hindu identity, forgetting that cultural roots, whether one is a Muslim in India, Christian, Sikh, are all linked to that cultural Hindu identity. And the more one embraces it, the more one is in less conflict, is less victimized, and is more balanced about both culture and religion having their significant spaces, which is lacking in Pakistan. So yes, and then obviously the problematic part starts that when you say I'm not like you and I'm going to break away all tradition, you have to create a new tradition. I mean, ultimately, even when Islam came to India and there has been conversions, but before that, those very people were Hindus, right? So why should we, revise history and teach something else, unlike what they teach in Pakistan, right? Sometimes it becomes a Turkish ancestry, sometimes it becomes a Saudi ancestry, but yet they don't consider them their own, right? They have their own citizens. I mean, Saudi would first give primacy to its own citizen, a Saud, similarly a Turkish. So today, that when he says this, obviously shows some desperation, because they obviously are struggling at the Baluchistan front now, and there is always, because like I said, because the identity is anti-India, so every day you do come up with everything which is basically channeled towards anti-India. And that's why whether they keep doing this, what they've done for like 78 odd years, when your primary motivation is anti-something, when your primary motivation, we are not like them, and in that too, there is a big dishonesty, because obviously there is a cultural relation. Obviously, just go a few hundred years back and there are so many converts there, right? And why even feel that there is a difference between cultures when there is definitely not? You look at Indonesia, which is the largest Muslim majority country in the world. They are not denying their Hindu roots. Their airline is named after one of the great figures of Hinduism, and many things, like whether that's their currency, it has a lot of figures from, from gods of Hinduism. So they are not insecure, right? So this should be seen by youngsters in the sense that, yes, it does not mean that 20 crore Pakistanis who stay on the other side, one is supposed to hate them. But do understand the motivations of their army, their institutions, their spy agencies, their elite forces, the common man on the road, their sports stars, their celebrities, that for them it's like, yes, you come into the world, you're born in the land of Pakistan, you're like, yeah, we have to be anti-India. So hence, even dialogue and reconciliation has to come from that perspective, because it's not India who says we are anti-Pakistan. So India is just responding to that idea every day. And hence its institutions are only responding. And hence you need to be more proud of them, because they are not anti-Pakistan. They are pro-India, they're pro-religious diversity, they're pro those 8 major world faiths, and everyone can, enjoy their freedoms here. And that difference should always remain there, right? And hence, obviously, India has never ensured that the extremists, whether on the left or on the right, ever come to power and they, redefine India and make it in the image of Pakistan. But let's not forget these important things. Humanity is important, but humanity sans rationality is suicide. It's like hurting your own self. All right. So I think we should thank General Asim Munir that time to time he at least gives a reality check that what the larger idea for the critical mass is there.